done the intro yet. Would you like to start us off?
All right.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, hold on. Wait, hold on, because this is 50-50. What's your intro?
We've had like 12. We've been on this channel for so long.
Mike, start.
All right, here we go. 3. Actually, I should give it a little bit. 3, 2, 1, and we're on.
We're on.
We're on.
Hello, everyone.
That's the best intro they've done so far. All right, guys.
And he ruined it by commenting on how
This
good it was.
is the Nice Guy podcast. Oh man, it's late. It is.
It's not late.
Yeah, bro. It's
Nah, the night is
you.
young. It's 10:55. What are you talking
That's
about?
fine.
It's after hours. Anyways, okay, so
After hours.
Something
What
like
is this?
that.
Is this an after hours podcast? Is that
No.
what we do now?
Mike, you said we're on vacation.
Yeah,
bub.
True.
we gotta go. We gotta go to church.
this is a true crime podcast. No, okay.
Oh,
So
Witnessing one or talking about him?
both. Where's Merlin at?
we're starting off strong.
Yes, we are. It's the coffee.
To introduce ourselves, we are Rant. I'm Nick.
Wait, I'm
Lanza.
supposed to introduce you.
I-
We have 2 guests on our show today, guys.
This is start over.
So who we have, John? You want to introduce?
All right. Listen, people. This is my brother, Nick Lanza.
Right.
Hard to believe, but this is my brother.
In my own effing house.
In his own house, you're messing with it.
These young bucks are clowning you, dude. All night, man.
All right, so no,
I know
I'll
they're
introduce it.
sleeping.
I'll introduce it. So I don't know either of them that well. I just met him like 20 minutes ago, probably. I met him on Friday, which we're recording on Saturday. Oh no, I met him on Thursday. Regardless, this is Nick Lanza, John's brother, and this is Ishmael. I don't even know what your last name is.
Bruno.
Bruno. That's right. You told me.
Yeah,
This is
I
Ishmael
forgot.
Bruno, and they live in Virginia. You want to explain yourselves a little bit? What you do?
All right, so
This
We
is
are-
Car Rant.
we are Rant. I'm Nick Lanza. This is Bruno. We are the creative minds and financial minds sometimes, but the creative minds behind a small car-based YouTube channel. We worked together in ministry for almost 10 years, pretty close. It's been a while, and we both have very strong passions for automotive enthusiasm,
Right.
among many other passions. So we like to go get it. That's what we do. Whether it's speed or the best pizza in town.
Ooh.
Or the best firearm in town. I know I just demonetized this video with that statement, but it's true because that's literally what we were doing about 3.5 hours ago.
Oh man, dude, you're just taking our money away. You're taking our money away, man. Taking our
All
money away.
33 cents.
Listen, by having us,
Ad revenue.
yeah, I know, in
Mike-
22 years,
Michael,
That's how much
respectfully, you've also said words that you probably shouldn't.
What did I say?
Well, for one thing,
Yeah,
you're talking
say it
about
again. So
Yeah. For one thing, you're talking about children on your podcast at many points, and you're not allowed to do that on YouTube no more.
No. Oh, really? Actually.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty bad.
You've said corn, but not corn, but corn.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Um,
hot
yeah.
one.
Grape, but not grape, but grape.
So, yeah, there is a
Alright, so you can talk
monetization.
about drag queens and stuff like that, but you can't talk about children or corn.
It's corn.
Apparently.
It's corn.
Big
Okay. Well, what about you want to?
Yeah. This guy.
Let's just start this over because there's so much that you
We're doing good. This is awesome. I love this. I love this. All right.
All
So, do you want to introduce yourself a little
Sure.
bit?
Yeah, like my name's been said like 4 times already, but my name is Ishmael. I am a car enthusiast. I would say more than that, but I've been involved in many different things. Enjoy hanging out and
Busted knuckles.
busting up. Yeah, sure. And
Listen, if you don't
Having a
know
good
about
time.
that lifestyle,
Yeah.
you don't know about that lifestyle.
but
My hands are still caked from doing a wheel bearing job 3 days ago.
Oh man.
yeah, but pumped to be here. Pumped to be chit chatting with you guys.
Yeah. So I think the discourse or the discussion for today's, episode is pretty open. Talk about cars a little bit. Talk about your story, your history.
Preface. He was asking him all kinds of stuff off camera, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You're ruining all the content you could have for this video."
What is that? David Dobrik. Get the content. Get the content.
Yeah, exactly.
Save it.
So-
It's just content, bro. It's just content. Well, okay. Let's go a little bit in depth then with your car history. Where
Oh, boy.
did you build?
You want to start with me, or you want to start with him? His
Well, I've
is
heard-
a lot more
He's gonna-
straightforward than mine.
It's gonna be shorter too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
a
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure. I was born and raised. I live in Virginia. Born and raised in San Francisco.
Right.
And so my first car was a 92 Nissan 240. It was burgundy. It was a hatchback. Interesting story about that car was
More than a few.
yeah, it was there was a guy he was a close friend of mine, still is, older than I am. It was his car,
Right.
and I learned to drive stick in that car, and I took my driver's training or my driver's test
Yeah.
in that car, and he sold that car to a guy in my church who was like an uncle to me, and this car was like kind of legendary, I think, like in our area, in the sense
Had a
that
reputation.
yeah, it had a reputation because the guy that had it before, he was super entrenched in like the like a car scene in the Bay Area, and
Was he well known?
yeah, I mean,
I
I
mean,
think
he
like
still
he was
is,
just
yeah.
a really he was also like a really like cool guy, you know.
Okay,
so
yeah. He was
he
the cat on the
befriended a
block.
lot of people,
Yeah.
and it wasn't that the car was like souped up or anything. It was just he was just a cool guy. Went to a lot of meets, like super knowledgeable.
Was he older, gentleman?
Older than me? He's
Okay.
he's probably about maybe now he's probably about 10 years older than I am.
Okay.
So, so he'd been around it for a while, but he was just like a car guy through and through. Like he
Right.
had the 240, but he also had like an Elko, and he had a Chevelle, and he had like this like super ratted out orange Jeep, but he wrenched on these things all the time. And yeah, it's just like, and he was a master tech at like a Euro Auto shop and stuff.
sick.
Hold on. He's a master tech at a Euro Auto, but he's wrenching on American Muscle.
Yeah,
And then this random 240.
yeah.
Because
Because the Euro's where the money's at.
Right.
Facts.
Straight facts.
And so, anyways, this car would and he could drive, and so he this was I grew up in the time when imports were super hot, and it was like Fast and the Furious came out. There's like this big cultural phenomenon, and it's when all the drift stuff first started becoming mainstream.
Like Gymkhana one and all that.
Gymkhana, but then also we finally got the drift competitions here in the States.
Oh, yeah.
Oh snap! Did you ever do drifting?
Yeah, so that's kind of where my story picks up. Is he sold this car to a guy in my church who was really close to me, and it came time where I needed a car, and out of the kindness of his heart, he gave it to me.
Dude, no way. He just gave it to you?
Yeah, he just gave it to me,
Dude.
and the car was a single cam, but he had some cams in it. He had short throw and all that, and he had a B&M shifter
Which
and
are
an ACT
money.
5-putt clutch. And so the thing, as a new driver, it was
Let's put it in
death
perspective.
trap. Yeah,
Let's put it in perspective. New driver with a clutch that's meant to just be on or off. There's no let's
no middle.
transition.
On
It's
hills.
just- yeah, because
I lived on all hills. So long story short, had that car, and it was great. And I had that car for a long time. And
until you
throughout
moved here, right?
about I moved here, and it was still at my parents' house. So I had that car, and I don't know what it is about 240 guys, but they're just gluttons for punishment. And it's I could have
Still owns one.
I could have one heap that doesn't run, or I could have two heaps that don't run. So this is Nick knows this story. This is probably the most sad part of my car history. Is there's the drift tax, right? So 240s are stupid expensive, and when I was in them, I'm still in it now, but when I was, just trying to survive in it, they you could still find some gems out there. And I found this white coupe.
Oh, this story.
And
This story.
it was single owner
Oh,
from
jeez.
this old guy. It still had the factory hubs on it, like hubcaps.
Oh my gosh.
It was
It's about
it was
as
the
stock as you could
it was
get.
the brown interior, which is like a more rare
Yeah.
interior. Had a functioning heads-up display. It had the stock plastic under the hood still,
Wait, they actually had plastics in those?
like all the covers and everything.
I didn't even know they had that.
It had working air conditioning. It had cruise control. The thing was a freaking gem. Straight
fresh.
body, no paint chips or anything. And
Those old dudes always take care of their cars, though.
yeah, man. And I picked it up for $2,000.
Jeez, dude.
And
You
I
couldn't even
had
try
that
for
for a
$2,000.
while. And I went off to college. And
Also, all this is in San Francisco.
yeah, all
The
this is
Bay
in the
Area.
Bay Area. I went off to college. I had the 2 cars. Transmission went out on the hatch, and I was in college, so I obviously didn't have any money.
Right.
So my grandfather was very kind, and he offered to pay to have the transmission fixed. But he had one of the homies from the church who was a mechanic work on it,
Oh.
and he put a new transmission in it, but he didn't put any fluid in it.
Sounds familiar.
And fried
Story
fried
for
that
later.
transmission because homie just didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
God bless him. And
God bless you and your family.
so
man.
that car gets toasted,
Absolutely.
and then my brother needed a car, and he rolled my white coupe 6 times down an embankment.
We need to find a picture of that. There's a picture of the wreck.
I have never seen it.
Oh, you never did see that?
I didn't. I asked them not to show me the photo, so I still don't know what the
Dude.
car looked like. But it was.
How old were you at the time?
I was in
here-
college, right?
I was.
No, you were here. When
No,
that
I was
happened.
here when he rolled the car.
Because you had called me.
Because
about
I
it.
was when I first moved here, I was going to ship the car over
Yep.
here,
remember
but I
that.
didn't have the money for it at the time, so I was just saving up to ship the car over here.
Right. And he was riding it the whole time.
And he was driving it. He was using it because he didn't have a car, which I said was fine to get to work. And
Right.
stuff.
Right.
It's my brother, you know.
Yeah. Is he older or younger?
He's younger,
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
and
Wow.
you know younger brothers.
No, yeah, it's true.
Tell me about it.
I'm the youngest. I'm the baby.
Younger
But
brothers. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I see a lot. I see a lot of similarities though. Now that you guys are face to face, you guys have the same noses.
Yeah. Anyways, he
Italian
ended up
genes.
rolling the car, and so thankfully he was okay.
And instead, you got to crap me out of that. And you never did an oil
So then
change
in
on.
between that, I had some other 240s that I
Miatas
like,
are nice though.
had and sold or whatever. And then
What was the most random car you had in college? I don't ever remember what it is.
it was a 67 Thunderbird.
So we go from sporty Japanese 90s legend to
T-Bird.
T-Bird.
It was dope though.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Probably the
dope.
most baller
My
kid in
Ford.
school, but like...
And I drove at one point. I drove a F-250 for a while.
Oh, diesel?
And I drove the T-Bird. I drove a turbocharged what do they call a Chrysler PT Cruiser?
No,
Oh my
you had the
gosh.
stick of butter one, bro.
Yeah, but it's just a Dodge Neon.
It is. That's the thing about the PT. Everyone disses on it so badly. But when you get the turbo PT Cruiser, it's genuinely fast.
This is.
Dude, I smoke tires in that thing all the time.
day.
It's just an ugly looking car though. Like
That's agreeable. It's just the
No
guts
one
that
likes
are...
Have you driven one?
I have been in one while driving. It's fun, but like it just looks ugly, bro. Like I can't even get behind it. But I will say that like they're fun cars to drive for sure. They are.
Yeah, definitely.
You can throw that thing around so easily.
So
Because
there was
no
that.
suspension.
I drove like a Ford Explorer for a while,
Oh, okay.
and then
Cop car.
yeah. So then I moved here. First paycheck needed a car, so I bought the cheapest thing I could find,
Which was $1,000 red Miata.
$800 Miata.
Dang.
After fees and everything, it was $1,000.
Yeah.
Because I bought it in Maryland, so I had to like do all the.
First mistake, bought a Miata. Second mistake, bought it in Maryland.
Do you not like Miatas?
No, not as a daily. As
Okay,
a fun car,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But it was all he had.
Yeah, that's tough.
He had
And it was a soft
nothing.
top.
In that league too, right?
No, soft top was good. It was just like cold.
Oh, cumbersome.
Or hot.
Or hot,
yeah.
That's the first car other than my Lancer I learned to actually like feel a clutch out and really start to understand how to drive.
Yeah. Yeah, and then moved here. And then you had that.
Met me.
I had the Raptor. I have the Raptor,
Oh, downhill
2010
from there.
Raptor.
Pretty much.
And
Raptors
then we had we went in together on a maroon S13.
2.
Mm-hmm.
We had a donor car and a running car for $1,000.
I missed that car.
Ruby?
I wish we didn't get rid of it.
Yeah, me too.
We needed to, though.
Yeah, it was bad. So, perspective on Ruby. He named it.
I named it.
He had the idea, because I had a car, we'll get into my stuff in a second, to get Game Boy cartridge cutouts of the original games, because the car was red, Ruby red.
Mm-hmm.
My car was yellow, so we were going to do a Pokemon Yellow cartridge sticker for my car and a Ruby cartridge for his car.
Cool.
Because we also enjoyed playing Pokemon.
Right.
So,
really cool.
I remember that. But that was a car that, it was a ton of fun. It was genuinely a good, healthy motor in there. It's just, he had slammed it so hard that the shocks could not be removed.
We just
anymore.
didn't have the
We had nothing.
resources
We had nothing.
to work on it.
We were a couple of broke boys coming out of college. And
So
in my case,
we got rid of it.
Right.
And then we found
Kintsugi, which is currently getting a GTST
heart transplant.
a turbo inline six, making somewhere around 270 to 280.
Kintsugi, is that the
That's the
the
gold
car?
car.
Okay.
Which, if you want to, you take it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I was gonna say the reason it's he actually came up with the name was the car is champagne.
Okay.
The color of the car is champagne.
Champagne gold color. It's really pretty.
And kintsugi is the art form, the Japanese art form of repairing a broken vessel or like a vase or something
Nice.
using gold. And the whole story the legend goes that there was this emperor, and he collected art and he loved art and beautiful things, and he had this particular vase that was really valuable to him and he really loved, and I can't remember exactly how, but it got broken somehow. So he gathered all his wise men together. He says, I want you to repair it because I love this beautiful piece of art, but it's broken now. It's ugly. It's useless. So they tried to gather all the pieces and put it back together, and they brought it to him. It just didn't look right, and they kept working on it, and they eventually found that they melted down gold, and all the cracks where they replaced it with gold. So you see all these gold cracks through it, and they brought it to him, and he said, it's more beautiful than it ever was. It's basically saying in brokenness, you can find beauty when the material that's used to repair them is pure, like gold. And so the concept was kind of ran deep, I think, for us.
It's extremely nuanced, which
So-
is very par for the course with me.
So it's the car is obviously it's broken, we had to fix it.
It was a pile of junk.
Musicians may come.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
Beautifully broken.
yeah, so I'll get to that, but we were okay, well, we're gonna, the whole heartbeat of the car is we're gonna only use the best parts for it. So we're gonna
There's hefty parts
even
in
if
that
it
car.
takes us longer to complete the project, we'd rather have the highest quality, not necessarily brand, but that does relate sometimes, but quality parts to hold it together.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously the gold of the car plays into it, but then we can't separate our faith system from other things that we do in life, so we saw the redemption factor of it. We have been, Nick and I both experienced brokenness in our life, like most people have, and the thing that holds us together is more valuable than the broken pieces, and that's God, and so it's kind of a really cool way to exactly what we're doing at meets and stuff, to tell that story, why we called it that, and then it's kind of like a sneak a preach in there too.
Yeah, you just
Sneak
trade them
preach.
through
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So Kintsukuroi is the art form. Kintsugi is
The item.
It's literally
The object is broken.
knowing that this item is worth more having been broken
Yeah.
than if it were kept whole.
So
that's
now,
awesome.
it's still an art form that's practiced today.
Right.
That they will
It's
intentionally
super hard.
break things. They'll
Wow.
they'll create these beautiful things, and then they'll intentionally break
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
to repair them with
Yeah.
this method.
So like cars and repairing cars, that is your passion, right? Like that both of you. 1,000%. That's your passion. But like, where does that start then? Like, where did that passion come from?
I mean, for you, you have a couple of things that lead into that. You want to share your story about who sat at your table?
Yeah, I mean,
We'll get into mine, but his is a really cool and interesting one that you can relate to.
Okay.
with what?
Who do you have a picture of on your fridge?
Oh, with Paul Walker? you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, bro.
No, just like the Fast and Furious franchise is like a huge cultural like reset for my
Yes.
generation, you know, and then like all the Need for Speed games and stuff like
Right.
that, and so I think part of it is just like it was cool, you know. I think my dad's a car guy,
Okay.
so he's
Oh yeah, I forgot. He's got two vets.
yeah
right?
he's got a 81 Z28 in black Camaro,
Yeah.
and
that's
then
what it
he's
was.
got a 71 Silver Anniversary Stingray Corvette.
Dog.
With the 350 crate in it.
Have you driven it?
Slick cars.
No, I haven't.
That's a honor
Not
you gotta
because, not because he wouldn't let me, but because
earn. Be
they've been
scared.
garaged
Oh.
for
okay.
a while, and
So he doesn't take them out then.
no. But the thing is like, what's the annoying part is that they're in pristine condition. Like,
Right.
they run and everything.
Well, okay,
but-
so in San Francisco, like, there's a lot of, or the Bay Area at least, there's a lot of like car break-ins and stuff like that. So is it hard to have nice cars in the area?
That's a good question. I would say more so now. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Good example. Mark Rober did a video of
yeah, the backpack
like
thing.
people leaving bags in cars, and even if the door was unlocked,
They're-
you're still smashing the window.
Right. Well, I've seen people now recently. What they've been doing is just leaving the doors open.
Oh yeah, or how the windows down, like
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead and search, or
Like-
leave notes like go ahead and search. Just
Like,
don't.
I
break the
don't
window.
have anything. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's
Um,
interesting.
but yeah, no, definitely it is. I mean, but now it's not even about getting your windows broke. I mean, it's during Cadillac converters, right and left.
Yeah, catalytic converters.
Um,
Kia boys.
Bro,
Oh my
the
God.
Kia boys are crazy, dude. They've been doing it in Columbus too. Bro, it's
That
bad.
would never fly here.
It's
But
bad.
that's because we got gangs here.
Yeah.
You try that with one of their cars, and you're good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, cars are kind of like, you know, I remember my dad would always. He subscribed to Hot Rod magazine.
Oh,
So
yeah.
growing up,
nice.
I like he'd always leave him in the bathroom, obviously, right? And so like I just remember growing
Explains
up, and
everything.
you know, I
Explains it all.
Bro, taking a dookie. Bro, that's so sick.
dude, but,
Oh my
but
God.
seriously, like dude, I have like there's somewhere like I have copies of Hot Rod magazine when I was a kid, where because they would always put the Summit Racing ads in there, and I would go through and you could see like I would take a pen and I would circle the parts I wanted, like in the Hot Rod magazine.
Bro.
And so for the longest time, and I feel like someday I will own one, but like before I really got into imports, I was all muscle, man.
Right,
So
right, right.
I wanted a 69 Camaro, man, SS with the hideaway headlights, black. That was like my. I even told my dad. I remember being young and telling my dad like that's gonna be my first car. He's like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. I don't know who's paying for it, but.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, chill out.
But dude, like there was one particular. It was actually right around the time that I started to, as I got older and developed my own taste, I got into imports, and I subscribed to Super Street magazine.
Yep.
And
Good old
Super
SS.
Street, they had I don't know if you remember. It was in like the early 2000s. It was really big. Was the Top Secret.
Okay.
Top
Top
secret
Secret
and
Supra.
option mag cars.
So there was a It was a tuning garage in Japan called Top Secret.
Okay.
And
They still hold the record for some of the fastest streets.
Do they actually?
yeah.
and so they did a gold Supra.
Yep.
And dude, I
12.
recreated that Top Secret car in Need for Speed.
Everybody did, dude. was such
And
a
dude, I
cool
had
car.
I had a poster of that car in my room. I had the Camaro poster. I had Top Secret Supra, and I had Paul Walker's Skyline,
Yep.
and I had a
R34 blue and white.
and I had a model Bugatti that I built, the blue one,
Oh, the
the
EVs?
original one.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
actual like IndyCar racer.
Yeah.
Dang.
And but yeah, so like I was all muscle, man, for sure. And then my grandpa was always into, because he before he was a pastor,
Okay.
and before that he came to Christianity in like his early 20s,
Okay.
but he was a street racer like before on the strip in the Bay Area. So he was racing like Buicks and Cadillacs,
dang.
like
Big
straight line,
72-liter
yeah.
yeah.
And so he always had something old project that he was working on. That's where I got the T-Bird from. But right now he's got a guy building I think a 52 root beer brown Buick with a 350 crate in it. So
You have no idea what that is, but that's like a glorious Chevy motor.
So yeah, maybe someday I'll have a Camaro, but on my list for sure is a Camaro, and I want a 60, either 60 or 61 Lincoln Continental with the suicide doors.
No, you would want a Conti.
Yeah. And some other things too. We could talk more about that in a little bit. But anyways, coming around to the Paul Walker thing, my parents owned a restaurant in San Francisco, and they had a lot of lots of movies and stuff were filmed in the city.
Right.
And so we had a few celebrities come through every now and then, and I had the opportunity to meet Paul Walker because he came into the restaurant one time. And this was when Fast and the Furious just came out. Yeah. So I think that was kind of his breakout role.
Right.
And I remember
sure.
I remember it had just come out, and some of the people, like some of the staff that worked at the restaurant, they're like, "That's Paul Walker. I just saw that movie like last week or whatever in the theaters."
Bro, that has a dope feeling.
And I cut out the newspaper ad for Fast and the Furious, and I had him sign it.
Dude,
and I took a picture with him.
How old are you?
Now we're talking 2001, so
I was like
8, 9,
no, I'm older than that.
10.
Like
You're
10,
still a kid for
10
sure.
or 11.
But still,
Okay.
like that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Just seeing one of your like role models.
Yeah, and so it was pretty cool. And he was like, it's true what they say. Like he was as nice as everyone says he is.
Yeah.
Super gentle, like really,
I'm sure.
just
I'm
kind.
Sure.
Like
Very surfer dude.
yeah, super
Especially
hippie.
at that point in time, was very surfer dude.
Yeah.
Was he based out of San Francisco or?
I don't think
I
so.
think he was Washington, right?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Okay, so
But-
he was counterculture though. Like he was. That's kind of like the vibe.
Well, you got to remember too. At that point in time, Fast and Furious was an indie film.
Right.
Nobody cared about it. It's people like us that just went yes, and took it in.
Yeah, open arms.
So-
That's
Yeah, because
awesome.
it took a snapshot of car culture that just wasn't mainstream.
Right.
But it's like the same thing with like skateboarding. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like skateboarding.
Thrasher magazines,
Yeah,
right.
skateboarding wasn't mainstream.
Until Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, I mean, like
Underground.
everything has its catalyst,
Right.
But those were like thriving subcultures before, and I don't think it's wrong, but I'm just saying I think that's the fact of it. I mean, if you kind of watch some of the behind the scenes stuff of, Fast and the Furious, all like they do the big, they do like the big car meet or the street race.
Yeah.
That first one. It's like, I had you, bro. I had you.
Yeah.
That scene, and then even in the second one with the Evo,
Yeah.
they do the big. They go into the garage and like all the cars.
Oh, yeah.
You did
Right,
like,
right.
dude. All they did was they put out like messages on forums.
Yeah.
And
Those were
this is
all
when
people
forums
cars.
were like a thing, and they were like, "Hey, you guys want to be in a movie? Like, bring your imports." And like all those people were just regular people with their like.
And Craig Lieberman, he was the
Tuners.
creative director for that. He helped Cohen, the actual director, like pick these cars out because originally Cohen wanted muscle cars.
Mhm.
And he was basically like, look, like Smokey and the Bandit was 20 years ago. Like, you got to find something better. And he had literally put out a casting call at car meets in addition to the forums of like, hey, bring your stuff in. And the Hero Supra was Craig's own car. The R34 in the second one was Craig's car. And I think he owned one of the heist Hondas. But, all those cars belong to people. Like, not just made for the movie. No, they belong to people. You would have found them on the road somewhere.
Well, like one of the funny things is
Granted, they're all illegal now, thanks to stupid laws. But yeah,
John. So growing up, I never watched Fast and Furious. Like that wasn't like my thing. But John introduced it to me, He was
I
like,
heavily indoctrinated this boy.
Yeah.
I hope you realize.
yeah,
that.
that's what
I have
I'm
10 years
realizing.
on him, so like he just picked up everything I did.
Yeah, I'm basically seeing a carbon fiber copy of John right here. Basically, just a little bit lighter. There was more ink used as John. He's the colored copy.
Wow. More dough, but less ink. There you go.
But we're watching Tokyo Drift, and bro, like,
This movie.
yeah, it's an awesome movie, like dope story and everything.
And not a single scene was shot in Japan.
That was another thing that was crazy to me. But the first scene, I see this dude open the door to or he's walking through the high school, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a teacher or something like that. But bro, the dude is like 40 years old playing as a high schooler, bro. And I was like, what is this? And he was like, that's the whole point of the.
Are you talking about the character of Lucas?
Yeah.
He was like 28, and he's trying to pretend to be like 17.
Yeah,
So
bro. I was like, this
terrible
dude is
acting
not.
choice,
Yeah.
But all of us love him.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what
Such a
makes the movie
gaijin.
so.
Yeah, exactly.
Gaijin.
What was it? Wabaki. Wabaki.
But John has a fascination with the one guy. Now I'm blanking on his name.
Han,
Han, yeah.
Dude,
That's because was it Sun Kong?
He's in
Sun
a
Kang
new
is
one,
A
huh?
G, yes.
Sun Kang is
Because
boss.
apparently no one actually dies in the Fast and Furious, but that's a different
Because
story.
family.
The
Except
power
Paul
of
Walker.
friendship.
What is
Rip.
Oh,
bro? What is the scene when they're in the barbecue and
better hide the baby oil.
yeah, but that's ad lib. That's what's cool. Like Fast and Furious, like the whole franchise. Now, how do you guys feel about like the newer movies, the ones that are coming
They
out?
should have ended at 7.
Agreed.
They should have ended it at 7.
You
When
probably
Paul-
agree with that too.
Paul,
Well, it's not
Walker passed
about
away.
cars anymore.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about like,
I like it for what it is. It's just
It's action
It's just a
packed.
dumb action movie.
yeah.
At this point.
Like
Right.
just big blockbuster or whatever. But if you're going in if you're going into it wanting it to be a car movie, you're just gonna get upset.
Yeah.
But if you, because now it's literally just McLarens. They're just jumping. I think it's obviously sponsored by McLaren, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
But like it's just like McLarens and like random things, like
Yeah.
like random trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It's
and
a
the
money
Chargers. Like I just saw that there's another hero car is another Charger in the new trailer.
For Fast 10, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
and I'm like, okay,
It's probably the electric one.
but doesn't correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't McLaren and Dodge owned by the same
Stellantis.
Yeah.
parent company?
Yeah, they are.
Stellantis owns everybody, basically. If you're not Volkswagen, you belong to them.
So, yeah, I'm like, if you're going in for that, then
Where is Stellantis based out of?
Denmark?
China. Just kidding.
Probably.
Shoot the balloon down.
But to get back to like the story, our backstories a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
For me, Fast and Furious was a huge part of it.
Okay.
Like 1000%. We grew up a little bit more sheltered than most. Him especially, me not so much, because I lived in New York for a little while. Got to see the Staten Island street scene a little bit. What are you doing?
I don't know.
All right, cool.
It's past 10 p.m., Joe.
That hair about to come straight up.
And the moon is out. Anyway, exactly.
Ow.
But for
Woof.
me, my car love and history is traced back to 3 main people. My dad is a big one.
Yeah.
He wants an AC Cobra. Like, that's his dream car.
Right.
He's wanted a Datsun 240Z for a while.
Oh, really?
He's into a lot of the vintage stuff from his childhood.
Right.
And obviously that translates
Carries
down.
over. Yeah.
But for me, my grandparents. So my mother's father was, in fact, an actual stock car driver.
Really?
He would race vintage muscle cars on dirt tracks.
Dude.
Bear in mind,
What?
he's doing this in the 60s.
Where
and
was
they
this
were
at?
vintage in the 60s. So I should tell you how old the cars were.
Yeah.
He was racing at a track called Wise Glass Speedway. It's not there anymore. It's literally the dump of Staten Island.
Oh, so this was in New York.
This is in New York.
Bro, what?
And I'm allowed to say this now because I'm not going to get killed for it. He raced for the mob.
Oh, okay, that's right.
His
You're
whole
You're
garage.
Italian. I mean, this...
He's not.
Oh, all right.
The last name is
Never mind.
Chamberlain. He's definitely not Italian. But he had raced for the mob, and I found out about this like 20 years later. After I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. That explains where all the Snap-on stuff came from," But some of the more notable cars that he drove, he had a 1940 Ford two-door sedan that he dirt track raced.
Bro, could you ever do dirt track racing?
I like regular track.
Let's put it in
Put me on
perspective, though.
pavement.
This car is probably, you've seen how big these things are. They're like the size of a minivan.
Yeah. Like
And
they're
they
huge.
weigh like 4,500 pounds. And they are built body on frame. So every single nut and bolt gets bolted down to this frame. So if you want to take the engine out, Well, yeah, you could try, but you would
It's
have
like
better
everything.
luck taking the entire top off
Yeah.
to then get to this part that's underneath everything because it's sandwich plated together.
Bro.
So he could take that entire car apart and put it back together in about 2 days.
Jeez.
So he would race on Friday, tear it apart, Saturday, Sunday, Monday it's back together. So he can go do practice laps again.
Jeez, bro.
Then he owned his own gas station, his own grease monkey shop where he fixed cars and also sold gas and all that. He was a tractor trailer guy. He fixed all the kids' bikes and stuff in the neighborhood, and he would just share stories from his time racing.
Dude.
The last car that he ever drove was a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. It was tubed out, so it had none of the interior and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And his steering column snapped, brake lines failed. 70 miles an hour,
Dude.
straight into a wall. And walked. And John actually put his helmet on by mistake and freaked out because he couldn't get it
Yeah, I
off.
couldn't get it off.
Because they're fishbowl helmets, and he was a
Oh,
small guy. He was barely 5 foot, and somehow walked away from this whole front of his car being in his lap. Never drove above 70 ever in his life. He literally, even as like a nod to him, we made sure that the motorcade for his funeral did not go above 55 miles an hour, because he would never drive above 55 miles an hour.
Dang.
But I have this heritage on my mother's side.
Right.
And then my grandfather is the one that got me into Fast and Furious.
Oh, really?
So in one hand, I'm like, I want a Dodge Challenger from 1970
And the other
that I
hand,
can
up the
just
street.
throw a 440
Yeah.
mag in and call it a day. And on the other side, I want an Evo.
Like straight JDM, like,
You never won that.
Well, I still want the 440 mag, but I
Mhm.
did get the Evo. And he went through his list of cars.
Bro.
We were trying to remember my list of cars.
Yeah, it's
now,
so
I got into cars late because on my 16th birthday, instead of getting my license, I was getting hit by a minivan on a bicycle.
That took a sharp turn.
Yes, it did.
Oh, gosh.
And I went that way, and he went that way. I was hit by a car on my birthday. So instead of actually going to get my license, I was getting schooled by someone who should have lost their license because he just was not paying attention.
Dang.
Long story to that one. I hope the guy's all right and still alive, but that's a different story.
Right.
So for me, I was scared to get my license because of that, so I had to wait. So
Yeah.
my love for cars got completely put on hold because I did not want to be responsible for that
Right, yeah.
happening to someone else. Through multiple people helping me finally get through that, I got back into cars.
Okay.
And first car I got was a 2000 Honda Civic.
One.
Rhonda the Honda. And that he will admit, because he was around when I just got the car, that was a super comfortable car. You made many comments about these chairs being like, dude, this is perfect for long distance because I could sleep right here.
It was a good car.
It was. There was an incident that happened that we still to this day can't explain.
Oh yeah, so weird.
I was trying to get used to the idea of rowing gears because I wanted to get a manual and I was
Yeah.
going to convert it from automatic to manual.
Okay.
So I'm just hitting I see the 3, 4, or the 2, 3, 4, and I was like, see, look, this is like shifting. And out of nowhere, there's just a puff of smoke,
Oh, my God.
and it was just a puff,
It looked like a mini mushroom cloud.
and it never happened again.
It literally
just
did.
farted, bro.
No, it made the shape. It was like, it went billowed and everything.
Yeah, and we
And
had
we
no
both
idea what happened.
looked. We're driving and we both look at it and we look at each other
Is that
What
supposed
just
to happen?
happened? What just
Yeah,
happened?
yeah.
Is
because
that
there,
real?
but there was no sounds.
Nothing.
Right.
There was no smells.
It just happened.
It just went.
You made it happy, that's all. You just made it happy.
I don't know.
We
what
had too
happened.
much Mexican food. I don't know.
Where's your gasoline from, bro?
Yeah.
But that car unfortunately got totaled.
Oh.
I was on my way to actually help his, at the time, landlord fix his car's brakes. And I had to call him on the side of the road. The deer had jumped into the car.
Oh, stupid
He
deer.
smacked Bambi.
No, Bambi smacked me, bro. Because I'm
He
driving
knocked
down
the
the
poop out of
road. I
No,
literally did. There's
really?
a joke to that. So I'm driving down this road. The car is about between me and the end of this table, so about maybe 6 feet in front of me. And we're
Right.
just going because it's a road that just goes straight to his house.
Right.
And there's gullies on either side that are roughly 3.5 feet deep.
Yeah.
This deer was trying to get on the road and go to the other side. And it jumps up. And instead of it being on the ground where maybe it could have taken a hit, I
Right.
hit it while it was in the air.
Oh.
And his head went into the headlight, and the entire body then pancaked into my car, shoving my car into oncoming traffic.
God.
The deer went flying off after the and all that. and I'm trying to recover. I'm freaking out, and I look down.
Oh my god!
No.
Well, this is like his first wreck.
My first ever wreck.
So it's like it's not just like he hit a deer, but he also like his first car accident.
Man, this is real
With my first
traumatizing.
car.
Yeah.
I hadn't even had it for a year yet, and the windows were down. And the next thing I know, I feel something on my ear. I literally knocked the crap out of him. There's
all along
deer
the
poop.
side of his car is like
Deer
In your
crap.
ear, bro.
On my ear, on my face, on the seat behind me, on the thing next to me.
so there's a more explicit word you could use.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like
It
not
literally
out of
knocked
it.
We knocked the hits out of him. There you go. And
Bro.
I was sitting there
Where
like,
were
in
you?
shock. He
Not
wasn't
there.
I think you were in Ohio at that time.
No,
No.
I was still living
No,
here.
yeah, you're still here.
That happened to like
That was in the
within
summer.
the
I was in
fir-
middle
the second
school, dude.
year that I was
Yeah,
living here, so he was
Yeah.
still in middle school. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was definitely in the summer. It was a warm day.
maybe I think you were traveling or something though.
It could have been. All I know is that I had lost my car. A cop came by with a shotgun, made sure that the deer was dead, put him down humanely,
Oh man.
and I'm just sitting there looking at my car. And I'll send you pictures of this.
Yeah.
You can edit it in post, but it's just done. $4,500 of damage. Headlights,
This guy's
core
He's
support.
trying not to
Because it's funny, but it's horrible because I had nothing, and I had to figure out how to get a car quickly.
That was the best phone call ever.
Hey, bro.
No, literally,
Hey, man.
I called.
Well, he opened up with, "I hit the poop out of a deer." Like this is how the phone call starts. I'm like, what?
I literally knocked the crap out of a deer, and he's like,
I
"Do
thought he was
that?"
being funny. I was like, what?
He's like, "No, I need a ride. My car is dead." Like I don't know what to do.
And your brakes are shot. So like.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not
it's his
my car.
landlord.
Oh, it's landlord. Okay, okay.
At this
okay.
point in time, you had the Miata. You didn't even have the truck yet. So it was kind of a, what you expect me to do about
Yeah,
this
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing?
Oh my gosh.
I literally knocked crap.
I felt bad though because he like really liked that car,
Yeah.
We have both really.
That's your
liked
first
that
car. You're always going to be most in love
but it
with
was
your first
clean.
car.
It was like a very
Super
clean
clean.
example. Like he got screwed, but he bought it from a dealership, right?
Let's put it in perspective. I bought it from the landlord's brother-in-law who worked at a dealership down the street from my house.
So it was like a very used car, like
Yeah.
age wise, but it was like a good example of one. So it was
Yeah.
like a really good.
Well, it was
shape.
also really low miles.
That's what I'm saying.
It
It
was
was in
well
good
kept. It
shape.
was well kept,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Not just that, it was like 45,000 miles for us at the time.
It reminded me of my S13 in the sense
Oh,
of like
shit.
Immaculate.
it was an old car that was upkept really well. I had all the records and everything.
And they
If,
just
if
done a
that
lot of
accident
work.
never happened.
Oh,
Do you think
1,000%
you still have
would
it?
have-
No, he wouldn't.
What?
Really?
This guy goes through cars like underwear, man.
That's actually true, bro.
No, I guarantee you, he wouldn't have the car. He would have traded it or something.
Well, no, because I had plans for it. I was gonna go.
You're going
with
to
the
sleep it
decent-
out?
So
What?
So
I
what
had
the
a
plans
lot.
for the other 15 cars?
No, some of them I had ideas for it, and it just we'll get to them in a second. But with this particular car, I was gonna do the B16 swap with a manual and keep it.
This was your baby.
nice.
This was your baby.
Well, it was the first car I ever had,
Right,
so I
right.
wanted to try to keep it.
Right.
We even had that discussion. Like, I'll get another car, but I'm gonna keep this. No, God said, "Ha, you funny, bro." That was the
Here's
end
a
of that.
deer.
Yeah. The next car I got was the Lancer, and that was a car that just stuck around up until literally about a month ago. It was a 2003 Mitsubishi.
That was a good car too.
It
That was a
was.
good car,
We
yeah.
jumped that car. That's a story. 2003 Mitsubishi OZ Rally Edition Lancer had
Rest in
really
peace.
nice shocks, all this stuff.
All these cars, rest in peace.
Thanks. Anyway, it had pretty low miles, but I had never driven a manual in my life. So I'm trying to learn how to drive a
Trying to
manual.
figure out, yeah.
And it's out this way, and I'm living in Leesburg at the time, and that's a 45-minute drive. So I'm trying to drive in rush hour traffic, a manual, with a
1-2.
bad clutch, by the way, all the way there, stalling it again. I was supposed to get lessons from this guy. I got one, because he worked at the church and he never got time off.
Yeah.
And the guy parked it at a bus depot in a bus parking spot. So I'm accruing parking tickets because of this stupid schmuck's decision to park it there. Not him, the guy.
Yeah,
sold
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And literally all the money I got from the wreck of my car went straight into buying this car. And we got it at 54,000 miles. And it finally changed hands away from people we knew at 200,000 miles.
Oh, wow.
And we
It
got
was a really good car. It's
So it's
great
put
to
to
road
work.
trip in.
yeah, comfortable, good on gas, made 32, 35 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
Wow.
We put
Yeah, like so,
super
like at
light
that point,
seats.
he had driven my Miata like a handful of times, and then the time he picked it up, and then we did like one like day like where we drove around for a while, and then he just brute forced the rest of it.
Part of
Because
the
like,
course.
well, I just shared with him like, you know, the basics and like
Right,
you know
right.
whatever, but he's got good, you know, like
Awareness.
Tactile
And,
function.
he's got good feel, you know.
Yeah.
So then after that, and then he just, I think at the time you were like in between like jobs or something, so you had time to.
Yeah, because I had just left my last.
So he had
retail
time to
job.
like. So he just like he's like, you know when you cram for a test,
Yeah, yeah.
he just like crammed for like a week, like just driving every day,
Oh, okay.
and then he got it.
Legitimately, I went out at 10:30 at night every single night, and I drove for 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because roads are empty.
In the
Yeah,
city that
yeah.
I lived in, they were empty, but it's all hills
Jeez.
in this city. So I wanted to learn this thing because I knew that hills in a manual suck. I
Right,
watched him do it a million times. I knew they sucked.
right.
And yeah, I muscled that as hard as I could.
Oh, my God.
Now,
So that's the
This is-
Lancer. So
that's
we're,
the
we're at the
Lancer.
Civic, Lancer.
this is where the money car comes in. And I unfortunately just got rid of this. I went from this benign 134 horsepower car to a Mitsubishi Evo. If you're not familiar, it's the big boy version of that car.
Yeah, yeah.
That car now, as an update for people who watch my channel and haven't heard anything about it, it now makes 700 horsepower regular gas.
Oh, wow.
And it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder. So, happy updates. We got to post that video soon. But yeah, he just got it fixed, and there's a whole. Watch the channel. There's a whole saga for that. Got it from Florida, sight unseen.
That's the story too.
Oh my god, that's a horrible story.
Dude, the story ends with he's in jail now.
Yeah, we got so many cars in jail, in addition to 7 of his other employees.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
because fraud.
His dealership people.
Fraud.
Tell me about
Short
it.
version. Yeah. But we got it, and he's the reason I actually kept it, because I had spent thousands of dollars to fix the stuff that they screwed up. It wasn't timed right, belts were stretched, they didn't put things in the way they're supposed to, they sold it to me with missing fluids
Dude, what?
and broken parts. It was bad.
Well, now the guy's in jail, so.
But finally the transmission blew up, because just like his other car, no fluid in it. So I'm going from 60 miles an hour in fifth to at around like 3,000 RPM
Mm.
to 9,000 RPM in fifth, going 5 miles an hour on a busy highway. And
Oh.
I call him panicked.
How
freaking
old were
out.
you when you got the Evo?
What was I, 21?
Oh, so you were a young buck with the.
Well, I had it all the way up until my 28th. So I was.
But how was that transition then from going from the Lancer to an Evo
Well,
8?
this is what made it funny.
Or is it Evo,
They
is it
had-
Evo 7?
Evo
Evo 8.
Evo 8,
They
okay.
had the exact same interior, except the gauges in the Lancer were white, and the gauges in the Evo were black.
Okay.
So there were days where I get into it and it's like, okay, let's go. That's the wrong car. Because it just looks the same.
Right,
so you
right.
just tune out your sensory perception and just go into habit mode. I ended up selling the Lancer after 50, 60,000 miles to one of the guys at our church who needed one,
Right.
who then gave it to his kid, and then it got screwed up. And then I got it back, and then I sold it to Ian, and it got more screwed up. But now it's somewhere up in upstate New York. God knows what happened to it at this point. Rest in peace, Meets John. But
Oh, did you go?
And only part 3 feet.
he knows the kid. Anyway, with the Evo, that was the passion project. I wanted that car since I was 10, and I was determined to make it epic.
Third car.
And I had it literally up until September because I was building it. It had a fully built race engine. Had I still had it, I would have had brand new seats with paint redone, a custom bumper from Japan. Like, I wanted this thing to be what I envisioned as a 10-year-old kid
Right.
who had just watched Tokyo Drift, who had just started watching the other Fast and Furious films with my crazy grandfather in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire, where Evos are more rare than Ferraris, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing one in real life really nailed that down for me. And I told him a week later, I'm going to buy this car. So,
At 21.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
paid that
That's
cash
awesome.
in full. It
That's
was delivered
awesome.
to my house as a pile. And when the transmission did blow up, we ended up going up to New Jersey for his truck. It he didn't buy this truck at that time. He went with a different one, but we were going to go get. Were we depositing or we were getting the deposit back?
I
I think we were depositing
Yeah.
for an F-150,
Mhm.
and the whole way back, I'm getting the report from the transmission shop. Total failure. Every single gear's gone, and those transmissions are $4,500. I've already sent almost 10 to fix all the other issues,
Right.
and
What is your dad saying this whole time?
he wasn't really in the picture at this point.
Okay. Okay.
Different story for a different time.
Right. Right.
But
So,
I'm just in the car with him, just like broken because here's this thing I spent all this money that I've
Right.
wanted for a literal decade, and it's now in
Pieces.
irreparable condition.
Jeez, bro.
And his words were, "If you sell it, you'll regret it for the rest of your life."
Do you think you would have regretted it looking back now?
Absolutely, because I said
Good answer.
record times for some of the street drags around here. We did all kinds of crazy stuff with that car. We had fun blasting around in the mall parking lot in that car. It had a reputation because it was a bright yellow Evo.
I think, and I think this would be, it's a comment on that,
Oh boy.
and then to
Your perspective.
then transition to we can talk about something else. But I think the most important part I think about all of this, like all of our interests, and I wanted to take this and kind of put the ball in your guys' court because we've talked a lot.
Yeah.
But is between the cars and everything, the biggest thing that came out of the Evo had nothing to do with the Evo.
None.
The biggest things that came out of it, and Nick, I'm going to say this for you because I know you would never say this. The first thing is, one, he grew so much from that experience. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a lot of headaches, trial, tribulation, but then the car represented a lot to him because
Right.
of his past, and like
Right.
that's his story to tell, so I won't, whatever. But he has like an emotional connection to that.
Right.
So he grew through those hardships, but even the decision recently to sell it was really difficult. But something that I always think about and I appreciate about Nick is that Nick always leverages his interests to connect with people. And the Evo got a lot of notoriety for Car Rant, for him as a person, like in our local community. And we have made, and specifically Nick has made a lot of relationships
Based off
because of that car.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, you're the yellow Evo guy,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
Nick
Yep,
can
famous words.
talk to a tree, and so like,
This is also true.
and again, like we can't separate our faith from the things that we do,
Right.
And so we've had so many opportunities to connect with people, talk to
Right.
them, and again, we're not using it as like we're not encroaching our faith on people or anything, but
It's an open door.
it's not like 6 or 7 months later, people after they've been hanging out with us and having a good time and whatever, and they're like, oh, him, like, hey, we gotta go, we got church or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you guys
You guys go to church?
Like, oh yeah, but like I knew something was different about you or whatever. And I was like, I can't like. There's a whole group of people, like friend group, that we have that we wouldn't have if
Had it not been for
it
that.
had not been for that car.
So like Ian, for example, right?
Perfect example. He
Yeah.
would have never met me had I not brought this car. That's why I want to really focus in on it, because of how much of a linchpin it was for a lot of things. He would never have entered into our lives
Right.
had I not gone through the literal hell that I went through to get the car running.
Right.
Because he was in the shop watching another technician that I'd become buddies with
Yeah.
try to diagnose and fix some of these other problems.
Right.
And at the time, he had a sports car, and he was like genuinely interested. Oh, this is a 2-liter turbo. I have a 2-liter turbo. Let's compare notes. And from that, we call up Ian. Hey, we have an S chassis. We know you're familiar with them because you have a buddy that's in them. You mind helping us fix ours?
Yeah.
Never
Same
happened,
thing with
but
like
that connection.
with
just
like
grew
Chris,
from there.
right?
Yeah.
Chris,
Like-
literally, we met because
So
of
like,
that car.
well, I was saying like even leveraging the cars, like he was the S13 guy at first before he got all Euro, and
There's so many jokes.
and so he came up to me. He was talking to somebody else,
Yeah.
and he saw our cars parked next to each other, and he started talking to me about my S13.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, you're friends with the guy at the Evo?" I'm like, "Yeah." So like, because our cars are parked next to each other,
Yeah.
and so
I think we had a picture.
We literally, like, Chris and I literally, and I remember, because you didn't get to meet him that night.
Nope.
And, like, I was
2
like,
weeks.
hey, I met this guy. Like, we were
Yeah.
hanging out. I was like, hey, I met this guy named Chris. We shouldn't, like, have him hang out with us.
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah. And then they hit it off. And, like, they were just at a car meet. And the guy
Right.
you know, and, like, we're still, dude, like, has a family and stuff. And, like,
Yeah.
Right.
still
I mean,
in touch.
that's. I like how you mentioned that. Is you're using your hobbies or your passions or your interests, and you're connecting with people,
Yeah.
who, I mean, they wouldn't have even been in your lives if you hadn't had. And now look at your relationship now with everyone that you've connected to. Like, you guys are like brothers. You know.
Our literal car club is a result of that car.
Right.
And one of our members, when I had mentioned that I was selling it, literally mentioned, like, dude, none of us would know each other had it not been for that car.
Right. Right.
Because, well, it's an eyesore. It's bright yellow, right? But it's also just being able to use something as a magnet.
So, all that being said, like, what are your guys' interests?
Well,
obviously, I mean,
F1. No.
It's a feature-length episode of this point.
This thing. Yeah,
I mean, you can just chop it down to
You can
whatever
chop
you
it
want.
down.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out. But I don't know.
I mean, we're
like-
getting to the meat now.
Like
This
these
is good. Yeah,
like
this is
these
good.
two guys, you know.
I'm going to put it like this. He was a hangers-on for everything we did,
Yeah.
and he came to the car meets with us.
Yeah.
Jeez, how old are you, bro?
8 or 9 on the first one.
Oh my
His
gosh.
mother about shot me. She's like, "You went where?" I was like, "The mall."
It was an ask for forgiveness, not permission thing.
What time was the car meet at? Because car meet's
Oh,
usually-
they ended at like 10, 11.
They actually, it's funny because, like, the car meet culture out here is so different. Like,
Is it really?
it's like it's very sanctioned here, like in
Yeah.
a sense of
What?
like,
Ask for permission so we don't get thrown out.
yeah, like here in the area. But like, I grew up like where I grew up, the car meets were like,
Ain't nobody care. Just show up.
yeah, and they were like, dude, we were showing up at car meets at like midnight.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And like getting together or whatever. But honestly, we were smart enough not to get dumb where the meet was at. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
H2O. That's one of the car meet things, right?
The
H2O.
fact
That
that you
is-
don't even know what
That's
is.
not a me. He's the only reason he knows what that is because I told him what that is.
No, Diego showed me that.
I forgot you.
But anyways, you were
Yeah.
But no, shoot. Okay, yeah, I got my train of thought back. But no, yeah, I hung out with these two guys a lot. Got exposed to the culture, got exposed to cars and enjoying them. Out, you know, like every little kid, they're always into the exotics.
The
Italian
Diablo on the wall
cars,
for people like us.
you know, the Ferrari 458 was like my dream car. I wanted that thing forever, and to this day, you know, because to those who've
I
watched,
feel like you can't be a car guy if you don't have a car in each category you like.
that's fair.
Right.
That's very fair.
Right.
Like, I feel like these people are just like one way. I'm
I
just
mean-
so one dimensional.
I'm the weird
Person.
one because like mine kind of fits multiple, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
I definitely fell into the
I think
rally
we-
car niche.
I think I know myself. Like if I had unlimited money, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like what I would have, and I could only have one car in each category.
We literally had this.
We've
discussion.
had this
discussion.
exact conversation. I know you and I have had this
Yeah.
conversation where, and it's funny because like I feel like some stay and some change.
They always
like,
rotate.
you know.
Mhm.
But you know, I don't blame you for like, because like I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes in import culture, people they're so shade, dude. Honestly, like
Toxicity.
you like anything
Right.
else besides this?
Right.
Like I'm sorry, you're a 1D person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
More than
Yeah, but-
yeah.
The 458 that was the first thing, and then eventually I grew up and started liking other stuff, and now I love JDM culture and whatnot. And I will say though, just with the job at work and those of you who
I was
watch
gonna say,
already
recently
know,
you kind of switched up a little bit.
I do. I prefer JDM, but I have always now started opening up to the Euro culture.
I have always now
Double negative.
English majors.
I need another one of
him.
these.
Fry him.
Well, because like the cars that
Very
you work
non-committal.
with, the cars that you work with, non-committal.
Oh man.
The cars that you work with are insane, like exotic cars.
yeah, we
but
work
they're
on-
not JDM, bro. Like you're working with like European.
He's working with some seriously high dollar cars.
Right, like-
McLarens. You had a Bugatti Chiron in there
We've had
the other
multiple.
day.
We've had
Miles Garrett car, bro.
yeah
What the
that
heck?
was a 700,000 package for a Ferrari SF90. But we work on all these exotics and whatnot, and
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Dude, that's,
Don't
Yeah.
you know?
That's all?
Don't you know?
Yeah, like.
But yeah, y'all who
yesterday.
watch know this already. But so that's why I'm kind of breezing over that a little bit. But I'm GDM through and through. Like
Right.
I will never. I don't think I'll own a Euro car. And if I do, it's gonna be some like old Mercedes, old BMW.
Real
something
fast.
along the lines of
Let's tackle this.
that. Mm.
One car, each category, one from every region.
oh, bro.
We had this discussion the other day, but he never actually gave me a full answer.
I didn't.
We'll start with someone who knows, so that we give him a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
But what
So-
am I listening?
It's
So what-
American,
Okay.
European,
Okay.
and we'll call it Pacific because there's other things in there.
Got a Russian car,
Pacific,
dude, right?
Like,
Because Pacific would be Japanese, Korean,
Okay,
Taiwanese,
okay.
and
and I can only choose
Australian.
one.
Only one from each. Unlimited budget,
Okay.
but you got to live with it.
Oh, bro.
Mm.
That's the key where you got to live with it. You got to deal with all its headaches. You got to pay the bills for it, all that. Money's no object, it's just the headaches. Yeah, I can go first because I know this offhand.
Okay.
So, Japan is real easy, but surprising for some people. I would 100% just stick with my Pajero. I love that truck to death. And it's fun. It's an epic little truck.
Yeah.
For Europe, I would get a Renault R5 Turbo.
Alright.
One of the most heavy metal, ridiculous rally cars ever made. It made 500 horsepower on a 1.6 liter engine. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure it was close to that. Which meant that it basically was just a rocket on wheels. And they literally took the motor out of the front of the car, shoved it in the trunk, and put a metal box over the top. Tell me that's not crazy. Anyway, American, it's tough for me because that's not my forte.
Yeah.
But since I haven't tackled anything on the like high end side of the equation, Hennessy Venom GT.
Okay. So not a Ford Bronco.
No. Well, why would I need that? I got the Pajero, which is 10 times better. I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Although I am still on the list for a Ford Bronco.
Are you actually?
I have an Outer Banks model that I reserve.
Oh my gosh.
I still need to get my $100 back forward.
All right.
I actually know. I know my answer because I basically finalized it. And
To 458 Italia,
no, actually, okay. So
Honda Civic,
Type.
as much as I love my Type R,
and a Kia Sorento.
Korea. No,
Oh my god.
as much as I love my Type R, that's not what's in the JDM category.
Really?
Long time ago, I would have said R32 GTR all day.
He'd still say it. Don't let him lie to you.
And as much as I would love to own one, right now,
You gotta keep it down.
90s
bro.
NSX.
You gotta keep it down, bro.
90s.
It's midnight.
Well, you know.
He's
Anyway,
passionate.
Yeah,
I
listen.
feel it.
Listen. But yeah, 90s NSX in the JDM category.
Oh, bro.
Europe.
Mercedes one.
It's between the AMG one and a LaFerrari.
I knew he was gonna go high dog. My dog's snoring, by the way.
I thought you farted for a second,
No.
bro.
No, he's just schnozzing on the couch. He's finally
too
giving
peak.
up.
And in America,
Oh yeah, you still gotta do America.
see, I'm like my dad. I like the
You want the
Cobras.
Jeep Wrangler?
I want a Rubicon.
Ball crawler.
All white, please.
Ew. Ew. No.
Rather be on the beach sticker.
Oh my god. If you're
Fault
reading
life.
this, it's upside down or whatever.
Ooh.
Live, laugh,
Or
love.
no. Around here, it would have a big OBX sticker on the back of it.
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
That's what all the blessed white people have on their Jeeps because they apparently all vacation in the same house. Because Outer Banks has like 12 people in it. Anyway.
Man, America's tough because I don't know jack squat about American cars.
Sure you do. You know you like the Bronco. You know you like the new Corvette.
The new
yeah.
Z06 is. I'd probably.
freaking dope.
Ooh. New Z06.
I might reconsider my Venom option.
The new Z06 for sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go for
Smash it. I already know you got this down to a science.
I'm gonna do for my Euro. I'm gonna do the RWB
I knew you were
911
gonna go
Turbo.
Ralph.
Yes.
Although arguably I'd say that's Japanese. I'm gonna give it
That's
to
what I was gonna say. Like, but the base is Euro.
Yeah.
But if you want to,
Fun fact, we are thinking about trying to build one in the future. Carry on.
um,
You can look up what a Ralveld is.
Yeah, I'm looking that up right
Porsche.
now. How do you spell that? R.
WB.
Oh, RW.
Porsche. Quick, what's the number for 911? How should I know? If you know what movie that is, you watched the right films as a kid.
Oh wow.
For Japanese,
Gloria.
no.
I feel like you own it already.
Crumbik.
Yeah, it's just gonna have to be my Sylvia.
Agreed.
Okay.
Kintsugi has so much cool stuff in it. We'll have to do a whole dedicated episode of like all of what goes into our cars because it's interesting.
And
but
if I couldn't have a Sylvia, then I would.
R32.
I would honestly, dude. I would do an S15. I think.
Would you go S15?
Yeah.
Just try and buy Brad's
Just because
old
I
car.
feel like Skyline. This is gonna sound really like sacrilegious, but I feel like Skylines are super like
Overrated.
basic.
Oh, okay.
They're like overrated now.
Okay.
See, the thing that people forget, they were super rare here because
Yeah.
people imported them, but like
It's so normal.
they were super common there because they were just a really high end sedan
Mhm.
for a long time.
Either that, or I would do like just like a Datsun 510.
I knew you were gonna go Datsun on
Mm.
me. Datsun 510 would be sick.
Yeah, like a white one.
That was the original GTR. For
Yeah.
those who don't know.
Exact with that trim, the GTR trim.
Yeah.
And then for I did Euro, did Japanese,
Japan.
and then
America.
American. There's a lot of good American cars, man.
I mean, I think your 69 would still fit the bill.
Yeah, you know what I really been vibing with though is
440 Magnum motorhome, baby. Winnebago.
Aero Street.
Yes.
Is the
man.
oh, I'm blanking on it now.
Who's it made by?
Stellantis.
Probably
Chrysler.
It is
Chrysler.
Imperial.
A PT Cruiser.
No, not the Imperial. The
Okay. How old?
Come
I'm over here
man.
like quizzing myself on this because I'm thinking Chrysler LeBaron. No, LeBaron's Buick. New Yorker was a good model. There's one up the street. It's
Chrysler
friggin' beautiful. I showed him the other day.
C300.
no.
That's a 300C, but yeah. Because if it was a C300, it'd be an SC or an LC300. That's a Lexus.
SC Johnson.
Here we go.
I knew you, don't promote that on here.
Bro, we've already promoted so much.
That's facts.
Right here, the
We're too
Regal.
small for YouTube doing.
Oh,
anything
no.
around us.
I love this
The
thing.
Chrysler
dude.
Regal.
Yeah, the turbo.
This
The
thing's like a
thing's-
GNX
The thing's
copycat.
so freaking ugly. I love it. Yeah, it's a GNX.
It's a GNX made by Chrysler.
But I would take a GNX.
I mean, yeah, who wouldn't? Darth Vader? Come on, man.
Yeah, here, let me show you the.
And yes, that car actually had the nickname of Darth Vader.
Did it actually?
It only came in black. It was all sharp lines and edges. And
Dude,
it
I
came
found
out,
one for sale, dude.
Didn't it come out right as Empire Strikes Back came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this thing, dude.
Oh,
We're
that's
teaching
pretty.
the kids.
That's pretty.
I like
This
Train
thing's
them
a
up.
total. This is a definition. So this is during that time period. They call it sleepers, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
This is a total sleeper.
1000%.
So I would do a Grand National,
Yeah.
or I would do my Lincoln Continental,
Fun
but
fact.
with an LS swap.
Fun fact for those who didn't know: Grand National is a V6 with turbos. The Corvette was a V8, straight up just naturally aspirated. This little V6 with turbos was faster than the Vet of the same model year
Was it?
by a standing mile. But they couldn't.
I love that ugly cool, man. Like, you know what I mean?
You do
It's
look really
like,
cool.
so yeah, I would do a Grand National just because I feel like
They also have
a Grand National with like a
like in person,
like a modern type of flair on it. You know what I mean? Like
wide body kit.
some cool wheels, like Rocket Bunny it.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. You and Rocket Bunny, man, you
yeah,
love it.
or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
or the Camaro.
He doesn't know what to do.
No, I do.
He's
I
surrounded
know-
by people who are just nerding hard right now.
I know his Japanese pick for sure.
Shh, don't say that.
I'm not saying that.
Listen, it's okay. You can say a Honda Beat.
Safe
It's
place.
alright.
No, it's not a Honda. It's not a Honda. But I am again. I'm getting
Nissan Juke.
into it. I'll start a Nissan Juke,
if
bro.
it's a Nissan Juke,
It's a Nissan Leaf, actually. No,
give me your man card. You can walk out right now.
Kia. It's a Kia Soul. No. Okay. So I'll start with my
Soulless.
European. I'll start with my Euro. I have always been fascinated with James Bond.
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin through and through.
Which one?
That's the thing.
Oh,
I don't
ask him
know.
that.
Vanquish.
I guarantee you, how old? Are we talking
Are
Connery?
we talking that like that car?
Just say-
Like,
Yeah. I'm saying the James Bond. That
Just
James Bond.
Any Vanquish.
That James Bond. That
Vintage.
or dude, no, or
Are you talking about the old?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
it's
say the
either-
DBS.
DBS.
so it's either that or it's a BMW from like an M3 from like early '90s, like a little
Yeah.
box looking thing.
Dude,
The E30?
Yeah,
Sick,
yeah.
bro.
Those.
Yeah, I would rock an E30. I was looking at there's a white E30 and we should talk about this off camera.
It'll air on Monday and then Sunday going, son of a gun.
There's a white E30 in our area that I was looking at.
Oh really?
With a baseball glove interior. Dude.
Oh dang. Well, so yeah, I would do one of those two. For my North American or American, I would do between the years, and this is a huge gap, but from '64 to like '76 Mustang. From that kind of
Dang,
gap.
you want a Mach 2? No, I'm kidding.
What trim?
I don't know.
Don't
That's the thing.
ask
Don't ask me. Don't ask me about specifics. I don't know.
Boss 302.
But-
he's a
The
baby.
bullet.
He's a
The
baby.
But I want like. Have you seen like what is it? What is the movie like the Green Hornet?
Mach 1.
I knew you were going to go that route. The Green Hornet, though, I thought was a Chrysler, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not a Mustang. You're thinking of the Mach 1, the Bullet?
Maybe. I don't know.
Mach
All I
1
know.
is a Mustang.
All I know is I want like a blacked out Mustang, like everything like, just like.
You want to know ugly cool Mustang?
Oh, here we go.
The
Tell me.
5.0. That thing is so freaking ugly. But dude, that thing can drive.
Are you talking about the Iron Pig?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, God.
It's
80s
ugly
and
as
90s.
sin, dude.
Is it?
It's disgusting.
Oh, but it's cool.
So, every Mustang's known as a horse, right? Because it's a Mustang.
Yeah.
But this generation of Mustang was just so egregiously ugly, but it had so much stupid amount of power.
What generation is this?
They call it the Fox Body, but other
Okay.
people refer to it as an Iron
You
Pig.
have to show me this. What years was this from?
Nine. I know they made
It's a
them
90s
through
car.
the 90s.
This is when American cars were especially poorly made.
especially distinctly
On
terrible.
purposely bad.
Well, because they were trying to adapt to all the changes from the EPA and the green movement and everything else.
Okay,
And so
alright.
they went from big, huge, 11-liter engines kind of thing.
I'm trying to find
To
a
2
cool looking
liters.
one to kind of give it the best
Yeah,
shot. it can
don't show the old neighbor's one because that was in terrible shape.
There's one in our neighborhood. I
Is it?
gotta take you by it.
It's got big old
It's got soft
boxy
top.
front
You know the
lights.
one guy on Instagram I showed you that had that old Mustang? His name is Nate Ryder's Garage.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Shout out to whoever he just
Whoever
said.
he
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Okay,
Add
do you
that
remember?
guy.
Dude,
There you go.
Oh, that's ugly.
Yep.
That's ugly.
We call him an Iron Pig because it doesn't look
That's
like a
ugly.
horse. It just
That's
looks
ugly.
fat.
Great motor though.
Yeah.
But so anyways, so like the
3
one that
valve,
Nate
right?
Ryder has, that's
Yeah.
like all blacked out,
Okay.
like just like.
Okay.
See,
Dude, the Cobra from this era, friggin' death trap.
Is it actually?
no
So
safety.
fast in a straight line.
So like if I were to get like any car I would get, I want it to be all black.
That's
Like
going on
blacked
right
blacked out windows, blacked out wheels, like everything all black. Like, I'm trying to like
650 wheel horsepower, dude.
sleek design.
Sleep
Jeez.
design.
Dude,
Yeah.
but the thing is, these are popping.
See,
Like I want to be like
you
a
could
black
buy
hole.
one for like 21K.
If I had a car,
Like,
I'd
fly
be
under the
black hole.
radar. pass a cop, turn your lights off.
Yeah,
Just
there you
like,
go.
what?
Like the Batmobile or what?
Bro, I love this car.
I just gotta mention real fast the age gap between us.
Yeah,
What did you refer to the car as?
the Batmobile.
No. What did you wanted to do to the car?
Oh, like black it out, like
Look at the grand.
So he's so obsessed.
Dude, grandma can get milk so fast. now.
So this is the generational gap. What did we call a car that was covered in black? Just all black everything.
A sleeper?
No,
Was it
no.
all blacked out?
Yeah. What was our old word for that?
Murdered out?
There you go.
Murdered
out.
out.
Yep.
no,
Murdered
bro.
out.
So like that's what I want though. But like I would want like to implement some newer stuff into it, so like newer wheels and newer seats and stuff like
It's a
that.
West Coast thing.
Apple
What,
CarPlay.
murdered? No. We grew up saying that in New York too.
Either that or like what were we talking about the other day? Like the old Buicks.
Probably.
Like the Grand National.
Yeah, no,
that's great.
like the '60s, bro. Where like the hydraulic. Remember we were talking about the other day?
Oh, you talking about
Impalas.
lowriders?
Impalas, yeah, bro. Those,
Impalas, Contis.
Bro.
There's like 5 cars for that, and that's it.
dog. That would be cool, bro. I would like Devin Booker. You see what Devin Booker pulls in? Bro, that's sick, bro. I would love that. So that'd be my American. My JDM.
Honda Civic.
No, they're gonna get flagged for this.
Go for it.
For
We'll see.
I want.
You got to deal with us first.
There's
so.
two. There's two. It's definitely a Lexus.
Okay.
but there's two different ones. It's either an IS250 from 2008, and I would freaking clap that out. Or
bear in mind, they have a very different definition of the word clapped out. Because for us, clapped out means it's broken. And
yeah, for clapped out for us means like it's
cool.
Yeah. Or an LS400, and I'd make a VIP build, which is that's what I really would want to
You
do.
gotta swing up the street when you leave here, so you
Respect.
can show them that.
Because I like for the LS400, I would probably get a little camera to it.
With the curtains, all the freaking little curtains.
Bro,
VIPs have.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like that's literally what I want to do, bro. Imagine just rolling in, bro. Again, all blacked out, bro. Murdered out, whatever. Yeah, and you're just like,
embrace it,
bro, dude. I would. That's a mommy mobile, bro. That's a mommy mobile, bro.
Mommy with an M-A-M-I?
Yeah, that's a mommy mobile.
M-O-M-M-Y.
Both, bro. Anybody's welcome. No, that sounds so bad.
First?
Keeping that in.
I know you are. We're unfiltered, but that sounds bad. No, I'm
Significant other, if you're watching, he's letting you know.
I don't even think she watches.
Very much so.
I don't even think she watches.
No, she definitely does.
How much
She
of a
definitely
supportive wife you got going over there?
No, but that's what
Can't
I would
even
do.
support you in the small things. You think she's gonna be supporting that car?
No, she wouldn't. But no, this is the thing. She wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. Actually, I'm not gonna speak for her. I'm not the lower X. What does the lower X say? I speak for the trees.
You have to add that stupid comment there every
The
time.
Vietnamese, bro. No, bro. Okay, so we're at the house.
Oh my
Dude, this
God.
is so bad. So we're at the house, and
This is what makes it the podcast.
it's Ian, bro.
We're in the meat and potatoes now.
in front of
The
in front
appetizers
of
are over.
in front of your stepmom, Larami.
Uh-huh.
Ian just whips out the Asian accent, bro, and it's like I'm sitting there and I'm so uncomfortable because this lady just made all the food, right? She just made all this food. She's being super nice, and Ian goes, "Oh, you know the doctor yet?" I'm just like,
But to me.
"Oh yeah,
He does that to me,
yeah." And I'm there. I'm just like, "Oh my gosh."
You know the sad part
You
is
haven't heard him answer the
she'll
phone.
do it to other people too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
She will turn around and make fun of other people. But we also harass her all the time because here she is, clearly Asian, can't use chopsticks.
Yeah, but I don't think Filipinos use chopsticks though.
Right, that's the caveat. She's
Oh, okay.
Filipino. But it's so funny when we go to he knows this. We would go to places for pho, right?
Oh,
Or
okay.
we would go to the Chinese restaurant or a Japanese place, and they'd hand her chopsticks, automatically thinking, squinty eyes, chopsticks, right?
Oh, and she's like,
And she's like,
no.
"Can I get a fork?" And she's surrounded by these white dudes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Do
him
use
too,
chopsticks.
who are just chowing down with chopsticks, and she's waiting for a fork.
Dude, no.
Dude,
No,
the looks we get are hilarious.
No, but
Because they
bro.
gave her baby training chopsticks. Just be like, you gotta at least do it a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Fit into the stereotype that's not even your stereotype.
I know.
So, how'd you get the name for the podcast?
Bro, that's
It went
actually
through- it went
we
through
were
a couple
both going
iterations.
through garbage.
Awful names.
Well, but I was gonna say in our lives we were also going through garbage crap in that moment.
Garbage crap.
Wait,
That's a new
we
one.
were?
I
We
was.
still aren't? What?
You are. I'm living my best
The
life.
curtain is just
best
getting peeked behind right now.
No, so we realized that being a nice guy, like John and I are nice guys. Like
Straight up.
that's
For the most part.
for the
R
most part.
slash nice guys.
Yeah. R/whoosh. No, but John and I.
Maybe to you, but not to us. This slapback is real right now. Go ahead. Go for it.
Well, so we were
just gonna
like,
roast him later. It's fine.
we were just figuring out. We were trying to figure out what can we name this podcast that would be relatable to people who have everyday experiences, but those everyday experiences aren't always sunshines and butterflies, right? And so,
Sometimes they're exploding transmissions on the highway.
right, exactly. And so it's like
Dang straight.
all this kind of crap happens to just
Normal people.
normal, decent people.
Yeah.
And John and I are normal, decent guys. Like, we're not going out, like, we're not male whores. We're not, like, we're not, no, for real.
Demonetized.
We're not
women
doing
out.
stupid stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing dumb stuff. We're
Yeah.
just normal, nice guys,
Normal
but
human beings.
we still go through regular stuff just like any other person would. And so we try to incorporate that into the podcast or into the talk show, whatever you want to call it, how we are just talking about life, really. So in this aspect, we're talking about what your passions are, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with our lives. And every other episode is we're talking about what is our passion. And sometimes it's what's our passion for that week. But in the perspective of two nice guys, two basic
Normal dudes.
Right. So that's really what the premise of the
Straight up.
whole show is. It's just
And here is editor John having to come in and kind of cut the video off because, unfortunately, the camera died during the podcast or show, whatever, and we did not get the entire conversation. That sucks. But we managed to get a good chunk, a good bit. We had good conversation about, as you guys watched, we had good conversation about cars, good conversation about the automotive community, and just discussing our influences and what got us into the automotive world as we know it. But we got into a lot of other fantastic discussion. To fill you guys in, we went down a rabbit hole of things. We got into conspiracy theories, and we got into which somehow trickled down into having a lot of fantastic, a lot of good healthy debate about Christianity and about our beliefs. And but yeah, we didn't get all that, but we had good healthy discussion the entire night, and a good way of connecting with everybody. But with all that being said, I'm tired. I gotta upload this thing again. We have this episode, and then next week me and Mike will be taking back here in Ohio, good old Cebus. And subscribe to Car Rant. They were our guests this evening, or I guess this episode. I will tag them in the description. Subscribe, like, comment, do all those good things. Do all those good things for Car Rant as well. And we are super pumped and super excited to see you guys on the next one. God bless. Peace out.